Tonight's LEX 18 big story at 5:30. A clerk robbed by bug spraying bandits one night is robbed by a man with a gun on a second night. Good evening, everyone. I'm Nancy Cox. The big story in just a moment, but first we continue to follow breaking news out of Laurel County. At least 7 students were hurt after a school bus wreck. It happened this afternoon on 25E near Fairston Road. LEX 18's Bianca Espinosa joins us live from the scene with more.
Well, Nancy, as you can see, Laurel County crews worked very quickly to clear this collision. There's nothing left of this school bus wreck right now, but sheriff's deputies tell us it happened at around 3:45 this afternoon as they were taking students home from school. 64 students were on board the bus. 7 students were injured and taken to St. Joseph's Hospital in London, according to authorities. The driver of the pickup truck was also injured. He was flown to UK Hospital. Now, this collision involved the pickup truck and the school bus, and we're told that it appears the school bus driver, who wasn't injured, pulled in front of the pickup truck, according to sheriff's deputies, but they are still investigating this. So the students on board the bus are from London Elementary School, South Laurel Middle School, and South Laurel High School, and we saw mostly middle-aged students there being transferred to the hospital. Of course, very terrifying for the parents of these children.
Thank you, Lord. I have no idea. All I know is my babies are safe, and thank the Lord in heaven.
I work for the hospital, so it's actually seeing, when it's your child, you never know how scary this can be, but when it's your child.
Authorities tell us there were non-life-threatening injuries for these children. Now, another bus did come and take the students who weren't injured to their homes, but of course you saw many parents chose to come up and pick up their students on their own. And I spoke with the director of the Transportation Department for Laurel County Schools. He tells us at this point he doesn't know what kind of disciplinary action will take place. He's waiting for the investigation to be complete. We're covering the news live in Laurel County from the LEX 18 mobile newsroom. Back to you.
And now back to the big story. It was deja vu for a Frankfort convenience store clerk, already the focus of one strange robbery this week. LEX 18's Chris Suter has details in the big story at 5:30.
Bewildered, shocked, falling to the floor.
It's happened twice. I stop in here regular, but actually I seen it on 18 this morning.
It's what surveillance video shows a clerk doing after being robbed for the second time in a week at this Circle K in Frankfort last night.
My ex-wife worked there, and I don't think they ever had a minutes problem when she was here, so I guess over the years it's got worse because of the economy.
You might be familiar with the first time around. We showed you the video here on Monday. It's hard to watch. Thieves barge in with bug spray and spray it at that same clerk.
Sure, it's a traumatizing experience.
Last night's run-in was much more dangerous, though, because this time the suspect had a gun.
We're trying to put extra patrols and all the resources we can into the investigation to alleviate these situations.
But it's safe to say after both robberies, employees and regulars alike are wondering how desperate criminals can be.
People, they're not in the right state of mind, and they lose their jobs and their money.
Not an excuse, though, that if caught, will keep these criminals out of jail. Covering the news in Franklin County, Chris Suter, LEX 18 News.
So could the 2 robberies be related? Police say the clerk didn't seem to think so. If you know anything about either robbery, you're asked to call Frankfort Police. Now let's send it over to Dia Davidson with a look at what's happening now.
Nancy, thanks so much. A second competency evaluation has been pushed forward for a Mercer County man accused of killing a former business partner. James Kelly's hearing will be December 13th before the 1-year anniversary of his self-inflicted gunshot wound. Police say Kelly shot and killed John Dacey in December of 2010 and tried to kill Dacey's wife. A day later, investigators say Kelly shot himself outside a Richmond hospital. A new sentencing date has been set for former Kentucky Wildcat and NBA All-Star Antoine Walker. It comes after a guilty plea was entered for failing to repay hundreds of thousands in gambling debts. Walker racked up $750,000 in debt at Planet Hollywood, Red Rock Casino, and Caesars Palace. The 35-year-old faces probation. A judge is expected to set up a repayment plan. Walker currently plays in the NBA Developmental League. I'm Dia Davidson. That's a look at what's happening now. Time to get your check of your LEX 18 storm tracker forecast from meteorologist Lindsay Schwarzwalder. Hey, Lindsay.
Dia, thanks so much. Well, it was a cool day out there as expected, and it's going to get even colder as we head into tonight. Couple showers now showing up on the Max Track Live Doppler. Luckily, this is all falling in the form of pure liquid, primarily across eastern Kentucky. These showers will be dwindling down, and those skies will begin to clear as we head through the overnight period. Do see the snow, though, over the Great Lakes area. That's going to be staying well to the north of us. In fact, skies clearing tonight. We'll see a fair amount of sunshine as we head into our Friday. You can see the thicker clouds now working to the east across parts of the mid-Atlantic states, and the rain and the precipitation you see to our north is mostly going to be staying to our north. Now, besides the cooler temperatures today, it was a breezy day, which kind of compounds those two things. 25-mile-an-hour wind gusts in Lexington within the last hour, so it does feel pretty brisk out there. We're a good 12 to 14 degrees cooler than how we were at the 5 o'clock hour yesterday, so a big, big difference. As for today's highs, well below average for this time in November. 49 the official high today in Lexington, 50 up in Frankfort. Tomorrow, we'll be seeing similar highs just like today, but without the breeze, and we'll see a little bit more sunshine as well. Right now, temperatures falling back just a few degrees. 44 degrees in Lexington. We have 45 out of Frankfort and Somerset, 46 in London and Jackson. Overnight tonight, it is going to be downright cold. That breeze will start to let up. Skies will begin to clear, already in the upper 30s by the 11 o'clock hour. Sunshine at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning, but temperatures in the 20s. Mostly sunny through the day tomorrow. Highs for the most part staying in the 40s. At least, though, we have a rebound in our temperatures for your upcoming weekend. Your Storm Tracker forecast coming up in just a few minutes. Nancy?
Thank goodness. Thank you, Lindsay. Well, yesterday we talked with a Jessamine County man hoping for the return of nearly $50,000 in jewelry. It went missing after he drove away with it inside a box placed on top of his car. As Lee Searcy reports, someone found the jewelry all right and also found himself in jail charged with a crime.
When Bob Webb accidentally left a $48,000 box of jewelry on the lid of his trunk Tuesday, he searched and searched every mile driven from Nicholasville to Lexington with no sign of the missing UPS box. But there was a reason for that. Police say about a mile from Webb's own driveway, here along Shun Pike, 21-year-old Stephen Armstrong found the jewelry, then tried to pawn it.
Well, we had $1,000 reward out, and he would have gotten $1,000 if he just brought it back to me.
Instead, police say Armstrong made the rounds at several pawn shops.
I think he had said that he inherited it.
Including the Castle Jewelry Store on Nicholasville Road, where Webb had luckily dropped off pictures of the missing jewels.
Several hours later, one of the employees came to us and said, gosh, Matt, one of the items you were talking to us about earlier, there's a gentleman out here with these items, so, we said stall him.
Employees did and called police, who arrested Armstrong before he even left the store. As for Bob Webb, he appreciates the honesty, the store's honesty. And the jewelry? Most of it has been found. Webb says don't plan on him making this $48,000 mistake ever again.
I hope I don't, but I hope it's a Coke or a meal or something if I do.
Covering the news in Jessamine County, Lee Searcy, LEX 18 News.
Armstrong is charged with felony theft. The jury will stay in evidence until the case is resolved. Now here's Kevin Christopher with a look at what's still ahead on LEX 18 News at 5:30.
Thank you, Nancy. Coming up, a violent demonstration by students after the firing of Penn State coach Joe Paterno, all involving a widening child sex abuse scandal. Plus, caught on camera, a surfer in Portugal hanging 10 on that massive wave. LEX 18 News at 5:30. We'll be right back.
18 News at 5:30. Coverage you can count on.
Welcome back. I'm Kevin Christopher, and as we cover your world, a Pennsylvania lawyer says demonstrations over the firing of Penn State coach Joe Paterno could turn the victims of a sexual abuse scandal into scapegoats. He says he's working to provide therapy to the young men allegedly abused by one of Paterno's longtime assistant coaches. University trustees decided yesterday to replace Paterno immediately and not allow him to finish the season. That prompted angry demonstrations by students in support of the 84-year-old coach. Officials in Venezuela say they have found the vehicle used by the armed men who abducted Wilson Ramos, a catcher for the Washington Nationals, but no sign of Ramos. The 24-year-old was seized from his home by kidnappers last night. There's been a sharp rise in the number of kidnappings of wealthy people in Venezuela who are held for ransom. A storm of epic proportions continues to threaten communities along Alaska's western coast. In Nome, the tide crested 10 feet above normal, causing flooding along the town's main street, which runs along the beach and features gift shops and bars. In addition, strong winds ripped roofs from some buildings in Nome. But wait till you see this. Finally caught on cam, a surfer hanging 10 and then some. Extreme surfer Garrett McNamara, surfing off the coast of Portugal, caught what is believed to be a 90-foot wave. Look at that thing. McNamara, a Hawaiian professional surfer, says he didn't realize how big the wave was, but somehow stayed on his board and smashed previous big wave records. And that's what was caught on cam. Now here's Kristen Flum with a look at what's ahead in the dollar stretch.
All right, Kevin, thanks. Coming up, planning to have people over for a traditional Thanksgiving meal. It'll cost you quite a bit more this time around. And new rules you need to know about if you plan to buy or receive gift cards this holiday season. We'll explain. Welcome back to LEX 18 News at 5:30. I'm Kristen Flum, and it's time for the dollar stretch. They've been at the top of gift lists for years, but consumers seem to have a love-hate relationship with those gift cards. Well, now new rules and new trends are making it easier to gift or receive them.
Rather than scouring the mall for the perfect holiday gift, millions of Americans will let friends and family choose it themselves with a gift card. But in the past, consumers complained about gift cards expiring or losing value before they could use them. When new federal laws for credit card companies went into effect in 2009, they applied to most gift cards too. So read the fine print on yours.
A lot of the terms and conditions will be found on the back of the gift card. And that will include any kind of fees that are associated with the gift card. They could be inactivity fees, purchase fees, or maintenance fees.
If that gift card sits in your wallet for a while, you don't have to worry about it expiring.
Funds on a gift card are good for 5 years. And if you reload those funds are good for another 5 years.
Then there's the emerging trend of electronic gift cards or e-cards.
Click and send immediately to your recipient's email, and in some cases to their Facebook page or to their smartphone.
A recent survey of gift cards by Bankrate.com and creditcards.com found more than half available electronically, perfect for those who forget the card when they hit the mall.
Meanwhile, you may have to put more money aside for Thanksgiving this year. The cost of Thanksgiving dinner in the U.S. will jump 13%. That's the biggest jump in 2 decades, according to the American Farm Bureau Federation. Based on a traditional Thanksgiving meal with turkey, stuffing, mashed potatoes, etc., a meal for 10 is expected to cost about $49. It's up from $43 last year. But you may be able to compensate for that later in the night thanks to those Black Friday deals. Walmart is the latest, announcing plans opening at 10 p.m. Thanksgiving night. But at that hour, you'll only find sales on toys, home goods, and clothing at Walmart. The electronic sales start at midnight on Black Friday. And that's a look at your Thursday dollar stretch. More baby boomers are cutting retirement short. Deborah Kostrian has that and more in the LEX 18 Bloomberg After the Dark report.
A much better day for the market today. Stocks rebounding from yesterday's market sell-off. We kick things off right today thanks to a positive jobs report showing that the number of people who filed for unemployment benefits fell to a 7-month low. Shares of Apple, though, not faring too well, down 2.6%. This happened after analysts said that Apple will sell 2 million fewer iPads this quarter than originally predicted. They lowered their prediction after finding out that suppliers cut orders. And headlines also coming out from Mickey D's expect some big growth. The company says it'll open more than 1,300 stores next year. The restaurant chain is also looking to modernize its brand, so it's going to try out mobile technology and kiosks. And a new burger could also be on the way. Mickey D says it's developing a pub burger. And it looks like baby boomers are working past retirement. A new poll from the Associated Press and LifeGoesStrong.com found 73% of baby boomers plan to work past retirement. At the New York Stock Exchange, I'm Deborah Kostrian with the Bloomberg After the Bell report.
You may have noticed it's gotten a little chillier out there. The cold air has arrived. It's going to hang around for another day or so, but we will look ahead to your weekend in a couple of minutes.
And Kentucky lands a huge recruit. That's coming up in our True Blue coverage. And if you find me here before 6:30, I got free McRibs. Come find me. We'll be right back.
Coming up on LEX 18 News at 6.
It will be 2 weeks tomorrow since the Mercer County Sheriff's daughter, Alyssa Kelty, died in a horrific wreck. For the first time, the sheriff speaks about it.
Dozens of veterans from across central Kentucky made the trip here to Washington, D.C. to visit memorials in their honor. Coming up at 6 o'clock, we were there as they took the emotional journey.
Weather has turned a lot chillier out there as we go through your Thursday. One or two folks may even be seeing a little sleet pellet wander through. Let's show you what's going on first on the MaxTrack Live Doppler. Now, most of what you are seeing there is what we call virga. It's evaporating on the way down. We're going to show you what virga looks like in just a sec, but there you see the coverage of it at this point. You can see where we're mixing in some pinks and whites up here in Indiana. It may be cold enough for that. A snowflake or an ice pellet may be working its way down. Again, you may have seen one wander by, but mostly what we've got out there has just been a little bit of rain. Show you what weather, or what it looks like. We'll go to our weather bug camera. This is from 5 o'clock looking from a St. Joseph Health System. Virga, we talk about it. Well, when you see these clouds and they have little wispies hanging down like you see there, there may be a sprinkle reaching the ground here, but more than likely it's evaporating as it heads toward the ground. And so it's precipitating out of the cloud. It shows up on radar, but we call that virga, just in case you were wondering. All righty, here we go to the bigger picture. What we've got going on is high pressure trying to build in from the south, and it will succeed. Another little secondary cool front's passing by to the north tonight into tomorrow morning. That'll kick off some light accumulating snow in the mountains of West Virginia, but that's not going to be affecting us. For us, though, it's the high sliding off to the east. That means we have got warmer weather on the way, and that's all good. So let's go ahead and talk about your forecast as we look at your Veterans Day tomorrow. More sunshine than in today, less wind. Those are both good things. A very cold start to the day in the upper 20s, finish off in the 40s. The weekend warms up, but it turns windy again on Sunday. You know, getting kind of hungry here. MJ, do you have anything good to eat over there?
Thank you, Bill. Time for your True Blue coverage. Hey, what a get. This one is big. 6'7" forward Alex Poythress picked Kentucky today, signing with the Cats, picking him over Florida, Memphis, and Vandy. And as early as last night, people were thinking it was either Memphis or Vandy. Weren't sure the UK had a chance. And then Coach Cal worked his magic. Poythress comes in today. Kentucky's recruiting class goes from being ranked 9th yesterday to being ranked 2nd in the nation today. To this year's team, the regular season starts tomorrow night. It's November. This is not what this team is going to look like in January or again in March, but Cal is Cal. There's a lot this team hasn't even practiced yet, which is going to make it tough facing Kansas in just a few days. Cal always downplays his team, and he did it again today, only even he had to admit, these guys are pretty good right now.
No, I'm fine with where we are. It's that who we're going to have to play. And everybody doesn't want to accept when I said it's going to be hard. We just talked today. What if we want to massage the ball? We haven't done it yet. What do we do late shot clock if it's winding down? How do we get a 3? The way we played against Morehouse, it'd be hard for them.
60, 70, or 80. Really? Hey, coming up at 6, there's going to be a lot of beards on the Kentucky bench during the next month. We'll explain that, and it's all for a good cause coming up in our next half hour. And free McRibs if you stop by and see me here at Wildcat Warehouse. Free McRibs till 6:30. We got coupons here from McDonald's, so thanks to them. More LAX 18 News is coming up right after this. Stay with us.
Day or night, log on to our website, LAX18.com.
It refreshes every 5 minutes. LAX 18 News at 6 is next.